Welcome to Unbiased.
Welcome to Unbiased. I'm your humble host, Will, back at you with another video. Before I get into this video, please like and share, subscribe. I'm a new platform. I'm trying to grow. So let's get right to the topic. The topic I have for you, this is a hypothetical question, and it's really for all the parents. And the question is, would you advise your kids to date someone when they get older, in between the ages of 18 and 21? Would you advise your kids to date someone in that age range that already have two or three kids, right? So the reason I ask that question is because I've done research that is 64% of black children that live in a single parent household. That's a very high number. It's the highest number in the world. The next highest is the Indians. They have 50%. And I'm gonna go on. 42% for the Latinos and Hispanics, and the interracial parents, they have 38% for their kids, and 24% for white, and 16% for the Asians, all Asian countries, right? So that's a very high number for blacks. And so that's why presenting this question is what we're gonna do to try to fix that in the future. Because we hear this all the time on social media when people say you gotta accept them and their kids. Cool. And I agree, I'm a single father. I already have my son. He's 13, so anybody date me, they want to accept me and my son, right? But I'm talking about what I tell my son and what other parents are telling their kids in the future when they get of age. Would they advise their kids, boy or girl, male or female, would they advise them to date somebody that already have kids when they're the age of 18 or 21? And I went around and asked different people, different parents, this exact question. And they all, not all, well, majority, I'm gonna say majority of them agreed with me. And they would say they would not advise their kid to date someone that already has, kids. And rightfully so, because I want my son, I think all parents should think the way I think when it comes to this point. I think I want the best for my son. I want my son to be better than me, you know, and I think I became better than my father. Because my father, as far as the work ethic, my dad was better than me. He went in the military, he drove trucks. He was hardcore. He was straightforward. But my dad did, you know, he was married to a previous lady, was not my mom. And, my mom was like a side piece to him. Then my sister, her mom was like a side piece to him. So I didn't do that. My dad had kids everywhere. I didn't do that. So in that aspect, I felt like I did better than my dad. You see what I'm saying? You get with my drift. And I want my son to be better than me. I want him to, when he get of age, you know, to get married and have his kids by his wife, by what woman? What's wrong with that? That's what I would want for my son. And I think other parents, when I ask them that question, they want that for their kids too. And me being an uncle, I want that for my nieces. I want my nieces to be with a guy that has no kids and they have no kids. I don't want my nieces talking to a dude when they get that, adult age and they talking to a guy that has two or three kids and he got about two, three different women. I wouldn't want that. I want to advise that to them. Now they once they grown, other parents had brought this to my attention. Then once the kids are grown, you really can't control them. And I agree. They're gonna make their own decisions in life, but you still gonna, if you being that parent, you're gonna advise them not to do it. Now, if they do it or not, it's up to them. And I agree on that point. They do have to make their own decisions, but I'm definitely gonna try to advise my son and my nieces and anybody around me. They could be a total stranger and they come ask me for my opinion, and I'm gonna give it and I'm gonna say, I want to advise them to do that, you know. But if they go do it and they go through, hell and high water, I am not gonna say I told you so. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just say, you know what you got yourself into. You when you get with somebody like that, you're already gonna become an instant father or instant mother right off the bat. And those kids are not biologically yours. And you gotta provide for those kids. And you have to because you're talking to that person that's looking for you to do that. And that's why I wouldn't advise people to do that because you you don't even know what it takes to be a father or a mother, what you have to go through to be there. But that other person already knows because they already had these kids. They're their kids. You see what I'm saying? So, um, but the people that I've been around, and I ask questions, like I said, I ask different parents this exact question. They all agree with me. Um, and the ones who didn't agree with me, they was like kind of on the fence of it. They was only thinking about what they went through. When they had, kids by different guys, or the dude had kids by different women, that, he got a woman that didn't have any kids and she helped him out and she was a blessing in the sky. I get it. And same vice versa for a woman. She ended up meeting a dude that didn't have any kids and he ended up being a blessing to them. But I get it. So people think, out of the box when it comes to that, but it's very far in between when it comes to stuff like that. You know, um, prime example, I know this is not the age range that I'm talking about, but you see, somebody get up with Future or, you know, Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, all these guys got all these kids by all these different women, and they just creating broken homes, you know. In the manosphere, I see guys do talk about these guys who keep having all these kids. And I know they bash Russell Wilson, right, for dating Ciara because she had one kid, which was Future, but and Russell didn't have a kid. And I think that wasn't bad. I think if you didn't have any kids, excuse me, and you dating uh, a person that has one, I don't think that's bad, in my opinion. But you still in that same situation that you gonna be against the father or against the mother, right? But I think Russell's I salute Russell. Russell's a good dude. He treats Sierra very, very well. He married her. He didn't ever disrespect her. He had other kids with her after she had, a kid with Future. And they bashed the dude because they called him lame and all this different stuff. But that dude is a solid guy. He's a good dude. He's very religious. And he ended up transforming Ciara for what she used to be. She still dib and dab in different wardrobes when she come out in public. But for the most part, when you hear Ciara talking, she's always talking about God and how Russ, love her kids, and they always talk about that family structure. And in the black community, we're missing that. We're missing that family structure. That's why that number, 64%, is very, very high when it comes to, single household parents. And you got black fathers like myself that, have their kids and got to raise their kid, and, vice versa with the women. But, mostly the women does have the kids majority of the time. But we're trying to, what I'm trying to, and other platforms are trying to figure out a way to, try to end that. We might not end it on our level far as age range, because I'm 39, about to be 40. So ours probably already over with. We already had our kids, but we talking about the generation after us, and that's our kids. We wouldn't advise our kids to do, those type of same patterns. Dating the Futures who got 8, 9 children by 8, 9 different women. I wouldn't advise on my niece to date a dude that's like that, even if he got the money or not. I don't really care. The money is irrelevant because you got to deal with 8, 9 different women coming in your life, telling you what your man need to do for their kids. You see what I'm saying? That you don't want to deal with that. That's gonna be a whole big time headache. And then vice versa for a dude talking to a woman that got a whole bunch of children. and she got all these kids by different guys. You want to advise a dude to step in and be in that role either. But the parents, they all agree with me, and I love that. I thought when I went out and asked these people that type of question, I thought I was gonna get like some bad responses, but these people they answered honestly and they agree with me. They want the best for their kids, and I think any good parent will want that. Any good parent will want the best for their kids, and I salute those people that I did ask and they answered honestly. It wasn't disrespectful, wasn't mad when I brought up those type of questions to them, but this type of question to them, and they answered, like I said, they answered honestly. But that's pretty much all I got on this topic. But the whole point of this platform is try to get black people back together. Black men and black women, we got to get back together and create marriages, big time marriages, lovely marriages, beautiful marriages. We got to get back to that and all be in the same household and bring back, cause the money. Black men making money, black women are making money in this day and age. Put it back in one household. What's wrong with that? What's wrong putting it back in one household and have a king and a queen? Um, you got a lot of women saying they're a queen, but they don't have a king. Then you got a lot of bosses out here who are kings, they ain't got a queen. Bring it back together, people. We need to bring this back together. Um, I think we'll do great with each other because it's been done before. You know, our ancestors did it before, and our community was very, very tight. A lot of people couldn't get in our community because, um, we was tight. We stood together. We was elbow to elbow. You all seen all the images from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That was elbow to elbow together. The men led, the women was right there. You know, those times came and went. Now we having gender wars all the time. Black men ain't doing this for the black woman, and then the men saying the black women ain't doing this for the black men. There's a lot of chaos out here right now, and I try to create a platform to bring all this back. Bring it back together, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, I tried, um, and it wouldn't hurt to try. So that's all I got on this video. Y'all stay prayed up, and I'll catch you on the next video.